As ticket prices rise and cabin space shrinks, there's a lot of advice out there on packing well for a trip. Roll clothes instead of folding them, wear your bulkier items and tennis shoes on the plane, mix and match. And there's the $10 rule proposed by travel expert Sally French. If you can acquire it in just-in-case item in less than $10, in less than 10 minutes, don't pack it. Recently, my family and I heeded some of this advice during my sabbatical in May. Michael, the kids, and I traveled to Europe for a month, and my mom joined us for 2 weeks of our adventure. I'm so grateful to you, our temple community, for this sacred time, and I'm pleased to say that each of us took only a carry-on suitcase and a backpack, and it still felt like we brought too much. And to be fully transparent, we did send a small package with my mom back to the US partway through the trip. Upon reflection, I realized the challenge to travel lightly was our way of reclaiming the practice of paring down as a choice and not as a response to a traumatic turn of events. Just months before our travels began, the home my parents bought in the 1970s, the home in which I grew up, where my mom was seeking some sense of healing after my father's passing, the home overlooking the sparkling waters of the Santa Monica Bay, burned in the Palisades fire. I'll never forget the wail that emerged from us as we stood amidst the ruins. A wail that resounded back through time, something primordial and wild and deep to the core of the earth. Whether it be a result of scorching fires or floodwaters, of raging wars, violence, or oppression, traveling with minimal possessions is becoming ever more the reality as natural and human disasters unfold in rapid succession. Now there's baggage, and there's baggage. As parents trying to raise resilient children, as children honoring aging parents, as caring individuals responsive to the world around us, we are carrying quite a bit as we begin the new year. As a Jewish community, navigating internal and external rifts in a complicated world, the emotional baggage can be overwhelming. For all of us, Yom Kippur underscores our opportunity to bear the load, to reflect and recenter, to set our sights on what we can pick up, what we need to let go of, and where we can discover agency in making our way forward. We are a work in progress, partnering with God to change and evolve as we take flight into 5786. The epic liturgical masterpiece in this season, Unatana Tokef, expresses that we are but travelers on this life journey. It challenges us to face the reality of our human existence. We who are mortal, our origin is dust, and so is our end. We endure our lives, getting our bread like broken vessels, like withered grass, like a flower that must fade, a shadow moving on, a cloud passing by, mere dust on the wind, a dream that flies away. The words of this prayer are a motivation for us to live with awareness of our mortality while seeking greater spiritual and moral capacity. The Unatana Tokef prayer concludes with the belief that our name is linked with God's, and we strive to be worthy of such a timeless, dimension to our mortal days. Nothing is permanent, but how we choose to live our lives has lasting significance and consequences. Amidst the acceptance of these truths, we return. It reminds me of this timeless Hasidic tale. Before departing to make his way back home, a guest of the Baal Shem Tov was instructed to visit Reb Dov Ber, who later became the Maggid of Mezrich, the Baal Shem Tov's successor. When the guest finally found Reb Dov Ber in Mezrich, he was taken back by his minimalist lifestyle. The visitor found Dov Ber seated on a plain bench, and his students were seated on similar benches, which later became tables on which to eat and beds on which to sleep. The visitor was greeted warmly, however, and sat in Dov Ber's humble abode, sharing wonderful words from their esteemed Rabbi. But after a while, the guest couldn't contain himself and asked his host, "Reb Dov Ber, how do you live like this? Where's all your stuff?" In typical Jewish fashion, Dov Ber replied with a question, "And where's all your stuff?" To which the guest replied in shock, "Why, me? I'm just a traveler passing through. I don't carry everything I own." "But aren't we all travelers in this world?" said Reb Dov Ber. Written hundreds of years later, composer and author David Israel lost his house in the fires of Los Angeles, and I find his words a mirror to Reb Dov Ber's, prompting us to be mindful travelers through life. After everything burned, including his extensive wine collection, Israel wrote, "Loss on this scale gets you rethinking everything. No more saving things for some imagined someday that might never show up. I decided that if I bought a bottle of Chateau Margaux, I'd be drinking it that very evening, or sooner. Honestly, if a corkscrew was handy, I might start right there at the register, offering a toast to impermanence under the humming glow of fluorescent lights." There's no ceremony, no occasion, only the quiet understanding that life is short and things burn. And if you wait too long for the perfect moment, you just might miss the perfectly imperfect one standing right in front of you. David Israel's invitation to accept transience, to rediscover hope and humor out of the embers, is one way we choose to live amidst impermanence. We mustn't deny ourselves the delights of life, whatever they may be. And according to Israel, impermanence poses as an opportunity to live fully, to explore and to imagine, to create and to play. Amidst losses and heartache, personally and collectively, where can we find joy in the everyday? How do we commit ourselves to let's not postpone sharing quality time together? Such sharing doesn't require a plane ticket or a beach paradise. It can happen anywhere and any time. When we schlep baggage of all kinds, it is essential to seize the moment and to enjoy a certain lightness of being as well. Are you going to wait for it? Or are you going to do something about it? The fact that life is transient challenges us to embrace joy. Additionally, there's another deeply Jewish response to our mortality, and that is to live with a sense of recognition of and responsibility for our neighbor's burden. Andrea Gibson, an award-winning poet, recently died at the age of 49 from cancer. Despite the instinct to turn inward, Gibson lived in a way that can be quite intuitive, especially now. In Gibson's own words, the following poem captures the message and spirit of Gibson's philosophy. Einstein says time is relative, says the higher you get about sea level, the faster time goes. I live in Colorado. My house is over a mile into the sky. All day I hear the wheels of time burning rubber on the clouds, my life in a getaway car racing toward the border, which is an invisible line. I only call death when I forget how to speak eternity's language, forget that to run out of time is to run into the truth that none of us have ever been our bodies. If we were, how would we fit into each other's hearts? But aren't we all travelers in this world, Gibson asks with poetic passion. In the face of this truth, Gibson pursued the practice of radical tenderness, lifting us from a cold and unforgiving black and white, us and them worldview. I hear in Gibson's voice the Talmudic wisdom from centuries ago, make for yourself a heart of many rooms. Our sages knew then, as we know now, that we have a sacred longing to connect with each other. Gibson believed that facing impermanence doesn't mean that we spend our days indulging in pleasures and avoiding pain. These are the moments when we can turn to our neighbor and ask if we can help him or her carry the weight of their burdens. This is when we can actively listen and engage one another, to acknowledge her struggles and help encourage him to see some beauty in the world. This is when we can motivate a fellow congregant or friend, neighbor, or family member to recognize his or her strengths and interests. This is when we can help someone feel seen, when we can uplift him or her out of entrenched perspectives or pain. Described by friend and colleague, author Amber Tamblyn, Gibson inspired us to soften toward, not away from one another, even at such a time of heightened vitriol and hate. Gibson lived with a belief, whether we are aware of it or not, that all of us long to feel less alone. Through the spiritual and emotional heaviness we may suffer, different kinds of therapeutic and healing practices are essential. Sometimes the best way to show radical tenderness is by knowing our limits and encouraging others to seek out professional support systems. Here at Temple, we try to bring emotional and mental and spiritual and physical well-being into our conversations and our practice. In grief support groups, our daily minyan, Shabbat services, and more. Living the truths of our mortal existence through song and prayer and poetry and learning and service and advocacy. By connecting to something greater than the personal weight each of us may bear, we can be lifted by doing our part to make a difference in the lives of others, community members, and neighbors. Where can we turn to share the weight of the burdens of others? Immigrants fearing separation from family and the denial of basic rights? Israelis yearning for the return of loved ones? Gazan children starving? Are we turning our backs to the cries of our neighbors near and far? Or are we responding? This season is our opportunity to set our course, knowing that there will be unexpected turbulence and turns along the way. With intention and responsibility, we ask, how will we work to create a more compassionate and just world? Tzedek Emanu-El, our social justice leaders and volunteers, are asking how we can double down on our efforts to support the most vulnerable. We will have opportunities for our whole congregation of all ages and stages and perspectives to become more involved, including events this fall and spring. Tzedek Emanu-El grew out of our TE 150 celebration, and together we will continue to strengthen our work well into the future. But aren't we all travelers in this world? Dove Bear asked gently. Perhaps Dove Bear didn't consider our impermanence as a problem to be solved. Perhaps Dove Bear's question resounds as a call to us, the visitors sitting in God's house, to live with impermanence, to notice when we clutch with a sense of fear of what is fleeting. The question is our prompt to practice letting go so that there's more opportunity to be present, to embrace joy, and to create a heart of many rooms. So here we are, standing at the gate of 5786. We ask of you, God, source of forgiveness and blessing, to open the gate as we enter with full hearts. God, our most eternal travel companion, may you be for us a source of strength as we share in this journey. Broken and whole, healers and hope seekers, we tremble with anticipation as we look to our potential. With sparks of joy and radical tenderness in the balance, may we summon the power to live in the moment and to find our moral purpose. And we pray, as expressed in the song Awaken, to be both a guest and a gift in this life, to be for a blessing as we come and we go.
Awaken my soul to all its potential. A ladder unique in an infinite scroll. Both a guest and a gift in this life I am living. May I be for a blessing as I come and I go. I come and I go. Awaken my heart to all its potential. A ladder unique in an infinite scroll. Both a guest and a gift in this life I am living. May I be for a blessing as I come and I go. I come and I go. Awaken my life to all its potential. A ladder unique in an infinite scroll. Both a guest and a gift in this life I am living. May I be for a blessing as I come and I go. I come and I go. I come and I go. I come and I I go.